you still recording all of this?
I am.
It's going to be really boring.
Well, it's not, again, I'm not.
When we moved from the suburbs to the city this fall, I thought it would be a great idea to create a podcast of our adventures, our search for public life, which seemed to be in short supply in the suburbs.
The idea is I'm testing it out. Plus, there may be something.
You got to commit to a lane, though, because you're making me crazy. You're in 2 lanes. Commit to it. Okay. You're still in 2 lanes. Oh my God! Didn't you see the thing? Why did you do that?
See, I just got a good recording of you saying, "Oh my God." See, that's going to use that. I'm going to use that "Oh my God" on our show. See? You never know.
But I was still driving a car, that backbone of suburban existence.
You're driving like your Uncle Joe. Was it Uncle Joe that did that?
Yes. He straddled lanes.
As you get older, you're scary. I'm going to have to start driving because you scare me sometimes.
Perfect. I'm selling the car. I can't wait.
Parking a second car at our new apartment building on Columbia Pike is like making a monthly car payment. So I sold my Jetta. The bus service around here is a dream. Buses come every 3 or 4 minutes to take you up and down Columbia Pike and other parts of Arlington. It's not like the suburbs. The buses usually have lots of riders, and people from all over the world take these buses. Sushmita Mazumdar, a longtime resident of Arlington, says that people from many nations hear languages of home when they walk to the bus stops. I took the Art 41 bus to StudioPAUSE, where Sushmita encourages people to make time for art and writing, and where she showcases art from people in the community. And it's where Victoria and I start public spaces. I'm Bryce Tolpin. Sushmita just published Columbia Pike Recipes for Recovery, restaurant stories from around the world in one zip code. The book includes stories based on her interviews with owners of several Columbia Pike restaurants, places renowned for bringing the foods of many nationalities to Arlington. But the recovery part of the book has to do with when a lot of those restaurants got started, just before or during the pandemic. The stories are about perseverance and community.
And then these business women were telling me how they survived through the pandemic. And it's because they had this community of regulars who would come into the restaurant even to just have soup or just have tea to support the restaurant, right? So that is in the Recipes for Recovery. And then there was one woman who said, I had to stay home, I had to quit working and stay home as a single mom because my daughter was doing virtual school. I couldn't have a job. So I quit my job as a Starbucks manager and started driving an Uber, because it was flexible. And then I saved up my money and I opened this cafe. And I'm like, whoa, right? And another lady said, I had a nail salon and then I got divorced and then I had these 2 young girls I was taking care of at home. And then the pandemic happened and I have a lot of friends who are restaurateurs and they would come to my house and I would cook Vietnamese food for them. And they loved my food and said I should open a restaurant. And they said they'd help me and we started this and then the pandemic hit. So, just hearing all their stories and then all this stuff, doing this work and listening to people who live on the Pike and what they love, like these young people talking about, I love being here, I just feel so at home. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
And there's tens of thousands of these stories.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I want to be on the Pike. I don't know how that works, but I want to be on the Pike. I want this thing to always be.
What is it about Columbia Pike that causes Sushmita to want it to always be? Sushmita and I were with Lloyd Wolf, the director of the Columbia Pike Documentary Project and the co-author of several other books about Columbia Pike.
Something's going on here where people from all over the world are living not in a ghetto. They're not in siloed communities. They're all mixed up, and by and large, they're getting along.
What would support this kind of community where no group's culture dominates over the others? How do we take pride in our heritage while remaining open to the perspectives of others? For Sushmita, it's about stories and objects. StudioPAUSE's art gives Columbia Pike Vietnamese, Ethiopian, Anglo-Saxon, and Bolivian communities, for instance, a chance to discover their place in Columbia Pike in the context of the other communities. She talks about objects and the stories behind them.
So I'm also a docent at the Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art for the last 24 years, and that is where I've learned to do what I do today, actually, because what I learned there is that through stories of objects, we can learn about each other. So the object becomes the piece that we are talking at and around, not each other. Because when we talk about each other, it gets all contentious and it gets really uncomfortable.
StudioPAUSE is 11 years old, but its new location on Columbia Pike is just about a month old. And it's already holding a mirror up to the Columbia Pike community, particularly the Barcroft apartments next door, leasing space to several nationalities. Sushmita uses paintings, photographs, craft items, so all of this diversity can see itself. As Lloyd and I were leaving StudioPAUSE, I received an object lesson about these objects.
Hi,
I'll
how
see
are
you Saturday.
Good.
As we opened the door, we ran into a couple standing in the darkness who had been looking inside StudioPAUSE at a dance costume with a feather headdress made in Bolivia. Its sash was in 3 colors, red, yellow, and green.
You see the flag, that flag? The green, yellow, and red? That's Ethiopian flag.
Yeah.
Also Bolivian flag. Is it? Yeah, that is a Bolivian dress. Do you want to come in and see it? Yeah, it's okay. I was
You
thinking
can come
that
in.
Yeah, come. Yeah. This is a community space
Yeah.
for art.
That's a new art space.
Okay.
That she runs it.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. So this lady is Bolivian. Which one? This, who gave this? So this, all the art is
All of us from various backgrounds, Indian, Ethiopian, Jewish, Anglo-Saxon, learned something none of us had known. Ethiopia and Bolivia use the same 3 colors in their flags.
So the same color flag.
Yeah, this is the same color Ethiopia. Can I take a picture of you with this to kind of tell that story if you don't mind? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No problem.
Would you like to be in the picture?
Okay, it's fine, yeah.
Actually, Lloyd is the photographer. So
Yes.
we are part of this
just
project
put
called
it there.
Columbia Pike Documentary Project.
Okay.
Then another gentleman walked in, making his own cultural connections.
Art space
Yes, I'm also living
in
Barcroft.
Barcroft?
Yes.
That's great. So we have a family art night tomorrow where kids and parents can come together. And the kids will do art with our artist who made
Okay.
this artwork.
Okay.
And the parents can relax. We have a couch, we have books, we have tea.
So you see what's going
Does
on.
this happen all the
You
time?
want to come because we
It's
want
only been
to
here
eat.
3 weeks.
Lloyd was correct. I did see what was going on. Public space was going on. Next month, Public Spaces will interview a local panhandler who makes some public space out of some unlikely turf, a median strip.
Oh my God.